the key supporter in power. What made Arsenal win?
It's a group of players with clearly defined goals to achieve the clear objective.
With clearly defined roles to achieve the clear objective. And these players have got unique and complementary skills. And one of the defense, one of the kutamba kumberi, one keep but they work together. Had they been of the spirit I want my name to be known more than this one, they were not going to what? To win. Why? Because at times you find that those who watch soccer would agree with me. There are some players who may deliberately not pass the ball to someone whom they actually see is at a position to score. They deliberately don't pass the ball. Why? Because they don't want that name to grow. And right? So, Kunjalo in M17 and there are people whom you know they are the ones who are now supposed to finish all this, but you deliberately not communicate clearly to them. Because you feel what I want a promotion, they are going to what? And right? And in such a situation, we fail to achieve SSG. So we are going to look into that. So our presentation outline, we are going to look at the national vision, as well as the vision for Bulawayo, the mission, and also your core values. Then we will also look at team stages, stages of team development. Which stages do we go through for us to say we are now a team, right? Then team excellence, as well as attributes of effective teams. Those are the areas that we are going to focus our attention on. So I had asked that when you hear the term team, what comes into your mind? And right, it's a question that you want to answer. You have the answer in the back of your mind. I shall need that as we proceed. Right? Then at national level, we have our national vision. It says Zimbabwe to emerge a prosperous and empowered upper middle income economy by the year 2030. The question is, what does an upper middle income economy look like? What does an upper middle income society look like? In the context of the services that you offer at Bulawayo Polytechnic. We have labor, adequate labor with the requisite skills. On plumbing, on electrical, they are available even in our rural communities, isn't it? Ready to offer what? Service, isn't it? So we need to grow a pool of labor with the requisite skills so that we achieve a prosperous upper middle income society. And for us to achieve that, as an institution, we are encouraged to collaborate and we need to work together as departments and sharing that silo mentality, isn't it? Right? This is the key prerequisite that can actually assist us to achieve the results that are expected at a higher level. But the first thing is, do we know our role? Do we know why we are there at Bulawayo Poly? Apart from you going for work to access Wi-Fi, what else are you there for? And there are some of us here who are so early for work. So early. They are so early for work. And why are they early for work? The reason is not they are there to work. And they are there to do things that are not right, in line with what we actually are expecting. What could be some of the reasons why some people are early at work? What is the issue? Right?
Using same mode of transport.
Using same mode of transport. And if you were not using same mode of transport like a bus, and some of you tell me like which is bus. But because now we are using the same mode of transport, at times you come early. And what advantages can you make out of that being in an elevated way? And can I ku grounds landscaping and environmental scheduling department? And this is the landscaping. What is the landscaping? Until you are seeing the environment that you have been exposed. No, it's a polite way by the principal to say, go and see what others are doing. You are not only here for the team building program, but you are also taking notes about the landscaping that has been done. Here, how can we apply it to our own context? Why are we into construction? Buildings are how to, is it a lesson errors? Right? What role can you take? Because you are researchers, isn't it? You are researchers. What is your role? What advice are you going to give even to the hotel industry? And this is the hotel industry, isn't it? Right? What is it that you are going to give? So, we are saying every corner that you are taking to is a avenue for us to enrich what we already know. So, I think in that context we are saying, let's see our role in our institution. And the moment we see our role and we play our role should then contribute to the goal of the organization. Just tell your neighbor, your role must always submit to the goal of the organization. Tell your neighbor, your role must always submit to the goal of the organization. So, each time you are doing whatever activities you are doing, ask yourself, does this contribute to the goal of what? Does it contribute to the goal? Plate here, you offer, I really don't know. What happens? Who has ever done a research on that? My web setup, at least is not to focus on the Washadi Dwardi. But you are not to that you are doing must be. But must be Mambo Gardi. So, Peslet out of the Abu Gawainichi, Miss Puniaki, but it's not the proper thing that we would want. Catering introduction to the uniform and put them at different types of knives and what do you look at different types of knives, different types of forks? Tuesday, catering. Yes.
A fish knife, a joint knife, joint fork and knife. Wherever it is it for?
One of this girl.
You guys should put it. They're on the internet.
So, answers by internet, and we need to learn this. And as a team, show them that you know and you cutlery and use it. For kuenda kubizia. Left and right.
Kuna chidende.
Kuenda pasenda.
Kuna chidende.
For kuenda kuchi. Left and your knife to your what? Let's use the what? Zvikuda zvakanaka because cameraman asuzomira kutora mafoto. So akazotora mavideo manje imimi makushandisa banga DZ area. But I know, nevertheless, but we are saying we are all learning, and as teams, we also need to be confident. When you get to other platforms, you need to be confident about what you are doing. Then we look at the vision for Bulawayo Poly. It says a globally renowned heritage-based polytechnic education, driving an industrialized and modernized society by 2030. And I think we have talked to this. When we talk of heritage-based, we are looking at locally available resources. What solutions can we generate using indigenous knowledge systems? And right, it is us who can grow the industry in rural areas as well as develop a modernized society. So you are thinking in your job category, how do you modernize your section? How your section can be modernized? We go ICT, how do we modernize the Bulawayo Poly in different what? Departments or divisions? Right? Procurement, modernization, maybe the use of ICT in our procurement processes is also part of what? Modernization. Security, how do you modernize? You also check students as they enter the gate. When you go my IDs, right? You check them as this one, but it's not what very much efficient. But how do you modernize? They need to just check and as they go, as they move what out. Maybe linked to my school fees and go that and right. Kitchen is saying, you should just take. That's a modernize what as we offer services to our students. Right? This is our mission. Generally, on a day-to-day basis, as we go for work, we are trying to develop innovative, skilled human capital through heritage-based technical and vocational education and training for production of quality goods and services. Generally, the clients that we are serving, who are the students, expect quality services. Quality services that are offered on a timely basis, and on a timely basis, and those services should also be affordable. So we are saying, in terms of your cost build-up, those who are in management, they need a cost build-up, be cognizant of the client. They also need the services to be what? Affordable. And your service should be available, always accessible. Right? When we talk about accessibility, let's not forget about the aspect of inclusivity. And why anybody disadvantaged? Maybe we are looking at those who are living with disabilities. And what is it that we have done? Maybe we can also have ramps in our institution. Do we have such to cater for what? For all. So it is good that for us to be in line with our mission, all those aspects should be taken care of. Now, what kind of a cadre do we expect under Bulawayo Poly? We expect a cadre who matches the values outlined there. How many values do we have there? 7 of them. And these are our values for Bulawayo Poly. And we are saying from those 7 values, we expect these values to be ingrained in each and every one of us. When we see you, we should see integrity. When we interact with you, when we communicate with you, right? Innovativeness. How innovative are we? What innovations have you done in the past? How have you been innovative in terms of services that you have been offering in your section, in your unit? Innovation in your past period of service at Bulawayo. Just to share with your colleague how you have been innovative. Huh? How you have been innovative.
We use a lot of innovation in our teaching and learning processes. We have computer labs, and in our work, we use quite a number of softwares, especially simulation softwares, which are available in our labs. And then we also have interactive boards that we use in our PLC lab. So I think we are getting there as a division.
Wonderful, wonderful. Then automatically as they go to the what? To the industry. There's no gap and there was another end.
Sarisai Makodora from Applied Sciences. We actually do DNA extraction using household chemicals such as sunlight, salt, because we don't have chemicals. But we extract DNA from fruit, plant, using household chemicals. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Right, and maybe it's difficult for us to, but we have actually come up with the local solutions. What is it that is available that we can use to attain the same results? Or even better? Actually better than results. Right, good. Thank you so much. Yes?
Extract DNA from plants like fruits, bananas, strawberries, using household chemicals such as sunlight, salt. So instead of using the usual chemicals, we've adopted a system where we can actually get the DNA. Thank you.
Wonderful. Forensic in nature. Right, then servant leadership. What do we mean by servant leadership?
So I think servant leadership is about a leader who lead by examples. You serve the people that follow you. For example, Jesus Christ was a leader, but he would serve disciples.
Right, good. Good leadership. Yes. Let's change our own delegate. Yet is your job, right? Good. Yes, I said.
In servant leadership, the leader mainly listens to what the subordinate wants, and from their requests and their suggestions, then he leads that too, so that he achieves the objectives of the organization.
Wonderful. A clear example of servant leadership in the leader listens to what you want. Stress is just and you agree with me that when you say you check my BP because I check my shoot an excitement. But it's no more. This is right? Cadence of servant leadership. Productivity. What are we saying in terms of productivity? It should be inherent within us. Is there that productivity? What does productivity mean? Yes, into the skill.
When we look at productivity, we are looking to the the production or the outcome that the individuals are producing in a given period of time for the organization.
Mm-hmm. The output that you are producing within a given period of time. Generally, we are saying in symbol, we are saying what result are you what? Is it the intended what? Result. Is it coming in the right quantities at the right time? And also making sure that the resources you are using, you are not misusing those what? Resources. Where are you able to share the limited what? Resources? That's where teamwork comes in. And my resources are computer are we able to share? Whilst we are pulling other what? Resources to make sure that everyone is adequately what? Provided for. So it doesn't lead to work stoppages. There is continuity. At the same time, delivering results and satisfying our client. Then teamwork. No. Now, you find that most organizations, that's where they fail. Because they have everything in order. But the ability to work as teams. They are now in a competition mode. Right? At the end of the day, the results doesn't come out well. So we need to embrace teamwork. We are saying together everyone achieves what? More. And then inclusivity. Inclusivity. How are we practicing inclusivity at Bulawayo Poly? What initiatives are available that shows inclusivity? What initiatives are available for Bulawayo Poly is not as inclusivity?
I noticed that there is no segregation when it comes to enrollment of students and even employment of lecturers. Everyone is able to come. There's gender inclusivity. Persons with, I don't know how to say it, but we don't call them disabilities, they are also part of the community. So there are opportunities as well, there are sports games for everyone. So to me, that's inclusivity.
That's inclusivity. Wonderful, thank you.
Yes, to echo what Seth just said, in Bulawayo Poly, we actually have chapters that have been set up. We've got people who are in charge of gender and inclusivity. And we also have a chapter which is called WITED, Women in Technical Education and Development, which also works under inclusivity. And we also part of the national strategies along that same line.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So as I see here, I'm also seeing the young ones and middle and what? Older. And there is that inclusivity in terms of even ages. And then entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship. The way we are doing our things, and entrepreneurship. What are we doing? Yes, ma'am? Ma'am, here?
I think the institution is actually encouraging us to come up with projects, come up with new ideas and new ways of doing things. And you actually benefit if you come up with a project.
Wonderful. You started well with that water project, and you put water. I thought you were actually programs that are available at the institution. So we are encouraged to have this mindset. This should be inherent within each and every one of us at the institution, right? So these are values. Then we have what we call programs. Each and every institution that you can think of, they have programs. When you talk of programs, they link your functions to the client's needs and problems. Mimi say Bulawayo Poly, makawapo nekuda kwechi, and makawapo nekuda kwe client nonzi student. That is a student here anga ichidei either knowledge, either mass skills, and either counseling, isn't it? Right? And imi mukazi ndimu mnozikona. Right? So, you do it under certain programs. Right? So you have what you call programs, and your programs, they are only 2. Right? So we have first program is governance and administration. So those who are responsible for making sure that environment of Bulawayo Poly is conducive for learning. Muriku program echi, governance and administration. My department is akafanana nechi HR. Vantu recruiter vanhu vacho kuti vaite basi ndizvo ka vechivaunza kutraining kwakaita sekuno kwandi ndizvo ka woita sei kuti wapa malive kuti vambozorora woita sei kuti vanhu HR munoita sei vanhu kana vakarasika munova discipline kuti right muri responsible to make sure kuti vanhu vari kuseva maclients edu they are ready to what to save. So they are under governance, and that's looking at the governance of what? Administration. Even where finance, where procurement, where ICT, and what governance and principals office here, even governance and administration. But it's not so still never technical now. Could you it environment I own a magazi, but one hour where we need my students are going to human capital development, research, innovation, and industrialization. My departments are there. My divisions are very happy. We have a lecture. What is program? Human capital development. So, in Mimuga Trukuti Susu, Bulawayo Poly has got how many programs? 2 programs. And in Temo Noti, no member falls under more than 1 program. It's either Urigu governance or Urigushi. I repair Erasmus program yaki after this. But Pane Erasmus what is the kitchen muri kupi? Taura imeka. Muri kupi? Muri ku program hii. Vanhu vanonge vachishandira kana ku kitchen. Vari kuma grounds muri program hii. Vari ku security muri program hii. Governance and vanhu vese vataura vari kuchi? Governance and they are creating the conducive what? I just wanted you to just right, good. Then there are those pictures. What can you say from those pictures? If you see something, say something. There are 2 pictures, the one on the top, the one at the bottom. What can you say? But what can you say from the one on top there? Any comments in relation to the subject at the end? They are in sync. Someone is seeing people who are in sync. And what else are you observing from the first picture on top?
I think there's a team leader and followers there.
There is a team leader and followers. Who is the team leader?
Those who are in front.
Those who are in front.
The one standing there.
Oh, Akamira Panzo. Okay. That's Akamira Panzo, the team leader. What else are you observing? What else are you observing from the first picture?
Varikumbira ndo vakajamba stereki.
Varikumbira varikuchamba vakajamba stereki kupura vari kumashura. Umwe varikuona zvaka. Ko imi muri kuonei?
Just jumping over nothing.
Right? So they've jumped higher than they can do when they are alone. And because in their jumping, and when you go to shout, and it encourages what? Each other, and they jump high, and right? Then the one at the bottom, what are you seeing?
I'm slowly getting there.
What can you comment?
I'm slowly getting there.
And I'm slowly getting there now to do. What can you say in terms of the one at the bottom? Okay. So when you look at the one at the bottom there, it looks like a police officer. Looks like a police officer with a gun. You see a gun. What else can you see there? Over. What else?
Big stomach.
Big stomach. Big stomach. A badge, as well as something like a grenade. Right? Something like a grenade. If you look at those characteristics that you have just described, they entail someone who is in the security. And if you are to give a scenario, you find that this person can displace 100 people alone. Ari ega so akamira munogona kutiza mese muri chi 100. Tikazoita investigate kuti vanhu vatizawa vatizirei chazva umwe munhu atiza bechi umwe atiza futi umwe atiza grenade umwe atiza mamiriro emunhu handiti so those things are complementary in what? In nature to scare a crowd, isn't it? Right? So do you see the power of teams? You're not going to become disappointed. One hour is one in uniform. They don't want to be associated with chaos. Because uniform here, it carries what? Authority. Right? So, do you see the value of corporate way that you are giving it? The value of uniforms, what you security, right? No boy, I'm going to mix a uniform with a gym. Hands palm to me. Because she no bench. And no one must do this. I don't know what is the security. Right, good. So, we are saying we have also, even in our institutions, we have different members who carry different roles. And why not link up with them to solve our problems that we will be facing? And there is no problem that is no solution, isn't it? But it all needs collective collectivism, isn't it? Right? Because in our institutions, we have different categories of people. There are people, some of us are good planners. Some of us are good analysts. And some of us are good in bringing people together, isn't it? They are good collaborators, isn't it? So if we work as teams, we blend certain unique skills which cannot be found in one individual, and that would assist us to solve problems. So what is a team? A team refers to a small group of people. Mark the word small, and it's a small group of people with complementary skills who are committed to a common goal. There is a certain direction that you want to move to, all of you, and a purpose. With the performance targets, who knows their targets for the year? Did you complete your appraisal box? Yes. You know your targets for the year? Yes. For the major deliverables? Yes. My yes, I am Tamasho. Right? So those targets and approach for which they hold themselves mutually accountable. So we are saying that at the end of it all, as we celebrate as a what? As a unit, as a section, but as the whole of what? Bulawayo. So we want to get to that point where we have these teams all working towards one goal. But now, for us to get to that level, in terms of teams, I need to know, mostly we say we are a team, but at which stage is your team? And teams have got stages of what? Of development, right? And they go through 5 stages of development. Tell your neighbor, teams go through 5 stages of development. Good. So stage number 1 is the forming what? Forming stage. And here on the forming stage, you have that idea that if you work together, no good. Remember, we said a team should be small, and a small group of people. When you become too many, it may become what? Complex. So we are in the forming stage. We have agreed, but we don't know each other much. You have just joined the organization. The supervisor is actually telling you that this is a very friendly environment. But those who are actually already working with them, they know that this is friendly environment. And this welcome. And welcome in this environment. You have any problems, talk to us. And problem here is waiting about week 1. And you find yourself, you are what? Alone in that what? Particular problem. So we are saying this is the forming stage. We haven't known each other much, but all parties are appearing, everything is what? Is okay. There we are at stage number 2, which is the storming stage. And there is now somehow some form of conflict arises, and to say, I'm seeing maybe someone has been given more workload than the other, or than what they anticipated, and that would still what? Some could be watching laptop. Need to be watching laptop. And can only be what then what? Are you not able to borrow or to make use of that to share? This what? This catching. Be it vehicles and that we use Mapu vehicles in the institution. Are we sharing? Right? So, one problem, storming stage. Then we go to the next stage, which is the norming. The norming stage is where you begin to understand each other, isn't it? Right? You begin to appreciate even the challenges that the organization is facing, and you are now helping each other. Do you see the one who had fallen and it's norming stage, who is responsible for what, who is entitled to what, isn't it? Right? Good. Then we go to the performing stage. That's where we are now even identifying or celebrating what? Success. You are actually now more focused. And when you are at stage 4, we expect that you are seeing your goal is here. This is your goal. And all of us here are now focused on the goal. We are seeing this situation. Everyone is focused on the goal. Right? Stage 1, forming. You are just agreeing that we are a team, but your focus is in the opposite direction of the goal is here. Right? The goal is what? Is here. You are facing a different what? Direction. But you want to reach a stage where you start what? You start performing. So my question now, as I end here, is at which stage of team development are we right now? Are we at the forming? Are we at the norming? Are we at the forming? Are we at the storming? Are we at the norming? Are we at the performing stage? Or we have adjourned before we have even performed? The adjourning stage is where at a certain point in time I have to say goodbye. And maybe I have been promoted, I'm leaving the institution, I'm transferring, or I'm retiring. don't want to talk about death, but it's part of also adjoining. And adjoining, we leave or we exit the organization through different what? Means. Is adjoining. And so, which stage of team development are we? The way you see it. At which stage are we? At this way. That's the performing stage. At this way. According to your own view, which stage are you? At which stage are you?
I think Poly is got different divisions and different departments. So we left failing to move where there's a team, but maybe we're on the trial stage where we're trying to help each other.
You're trying to help each other. So you are at the norming, and that is after storming. You are at the norming what? Norming stage. You are beginning to identify each other and also assisting to give direction to each other. And yes, we want to move from that stage to get to the performing stage. But allow me to say that very few organizations are at the performing stage. Right? Very few organizations reach out to the performing stage due to a number of factors in terms of teams. Because remember, there is that element of trust. You need to build trust in each other. You need to invest in others and invest your time, your skills, knowledge in others. Varipo here vakagotora nguva yekudzidzisa vamwe basa. Zviya zvekunge zvinonzi pamwe vari kutoenda mangwana. Kana kuti you want to keep that secret that makes you perform to yourself. So, the moment you are not yet at the stage of sharing how best the job is done, you are not yet there. We are not there. We are still in the norming stage. We want to get to the stage where we are now actually performing and things what? To the extent that within a team that is well built and performing well, it should be difficult for us to identify who the leader is. When you are now performing well, it should be difficult to identify who is the leader. Everyone plays their part. Workflow is what? Is smooth. And so this is where we want to get. So one key takeaway that I would want you to have in the back of your mind is that one is too small a number to achieve greatness. One is too small a number to achieve greatness. You can be good, but you are not that good. You always need the assistance of others. Right? How do we harness collective intelligence amongst us? We have different skills, and hidden skills are very good. It means you can actually host a colorful event at Bulawayo Poly at zero cost because Munaika MC. Unozoita zero cost here. A small fee, but that will be a small fee using my locally available resources, local heritage-based and good. So it's doable for us. Now that we have. There is a hand up?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Mr. Dube?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to share an experience.
Okay.
We are a newly formed department, Information Sciences. And when we started, this is our maybe third year, we formed 3 years ago. When we started, like I was looking at the stages.
The stages of development.
The forming, forming came, the department was formed. The storming came, accusations and counter accusations, some very serious. We couldn't even assign people duties. People were busy looking at their own. Then we moved into the norming where people started to realize that we are supposed to work together. Then we went campus, they know me,
But we
can tell you. We can now work like as it is. You find it's becoming easy to delegate. Each everyone now knows what they're supposed to do. Like we are saying, at times you can even come and say, who is the leader? You can't see. I thought I should share with you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. A round of applause for him. We are going to begin to give you the right direction. And so today we'll give you a recipe for you to further elevate yourselves from where you are. Wherever you are, we want you to elevate yourselves to another greater level. And yes, sir?
One thing that I realized on team formation and group formation and team formation is it might not be linear. You need to. Hello? One thing that I've identified and realized about teams and team formation. Team formation might not be linear. Both now and again, we need to review whatever that we are working on. So my question is, probably in line with what you said when you were applying to be Mr. Dube. When they say you are not yet on performing, do we have anyone in organization that has reached that stage? If ever.
That's where I'm performing stage. When we talk of performing stage, let me give you, for example, we talk of Google, right? We talk of Apple, we talk of Samsung. Those companies have gone to those levels, to the extent that they can actually be able to give you prompt services, and they can actually respond to a client's complaint by giving you a different version of what you were complaining about with a solution. And look at Toyota. Right? Cruiser money, right? They can give you what you want. And if you complain to say, the seats do not adjust well in terms of maybe height going up and what, they will do another version and for you. It's performing what stage? I've given you at a much higher level. But if we go back to the Zimbabwean context, you can talk of Wananyara, Wanajabs, right? Those companies, somehow they are finding themselves in the performing stage, knowing how the journey which they went through. So we are saying also to ourselves, which companies do you emulate locally? Right? Local. We can talk of Simbisa brands, and right? What they are doing, and every corner they have occupied every corner, and right? In terms of their marketing strategy. They are actually performing. We come back to the public sector. Which organizations are you seeing as performing? We have a system that is being used by the government of Zimbabwe, the integrated results-based management, performance management system, where the government has made a deliberate attempt to say, best performing entities, we are going to give awards. So in March every year, secretaries, ministers are given awards based on a certain criteria of performance, which actually also takes cognizance of some of the areas that we have looked at in terms of teams. So whether at times from a client perspective, from us, the general citizens, it matches, but generally the criteria is we want to get, it has been observed that for us to perform better, we need to work as teams. So recently, Takaona, best performing minister, tourism, but if you also move around this hospitality industry, you see a lot of things that are that are happening in that tourism industry, which entails, at the end of the day, it's showing some team spirits, team spirit that is prevailing between my parastatals in the industry as well as the line ministry in the industry. All this as a result of working as teams. So how can we also replicate that in tertiary institutions? Tine tertiary institutions edu, tine TESC, tine Ministry of Higher Tertiary Education, and yes, that go broader. But we come back to our institution to what is Susu. Are we able to work as a team before we even look at other institutions that are surrounding us? So ideally and ultimately, we are saying the success of Vision 2030 rests upon us as entities to say, let's have our role contributing to the overall goal of our institution. Let's have our role as Poly contributing to the overall goal of the ministry. Let's have our role as the ministry contributing to the overall goal of all the ministries which we have, representing your area of specialization, and it feeds into the what is expected at a national level. Then if we are able to do that, our results will come out. So the success rests upon us from an individual level. Thank you so much for raising that very important question. Any other reaction? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Alexis Panda from the Division of Commerce. What I have realized is that for teams to work, there is need to avail resources. Because sometimes people might have ideas, everything, but if there are no resources on time, those ideas will never take shape. That is where more conflict is coming from, because first we need to fight for the resources before we even start to do what we are supposed to do. Thank you.
Okay. One of the inhibitors of what? Of working as teams. And yes, it's a very valid point. Maybe where there is some delay in my release of funds to do procurement. But for you, Poly, you are a little bit privileged than other institutions. If we are looking at it from a helicopter view, and immediately inside and resources, we know from an economic point of view can never be enough, and we want to make prudent use of those limited resources. How do we make prudent use of those limited resources? What strategies can we implement? As we do our planning and see which ultimately what is it that we are contributing towards assisting addressing our clients' needs and problems. But I appreciate that point to say some of the inhibitors. I think it's something that we also need to put in our report as we report back to your institution. The aspect of what? Availing what resources. What are the inhibitors? What are the inhibitors of teamwork? Do you have or do you see? There's zvimhinga mbini zvinoita kuti musashandise mateams zvamunoona ndoiti kuti ma-inhibitors and yesindu kuitwa poor communication and you want to go deeper in terms of poor communication because it's broad. Poor communication, what are we saying?
Okay, it can come in several ways. Sometimes it's just communication about what is happening in the institution.
Okay. If we disseminate all the sections and about the direction we are taking and even the strategy of the institution, it has to be known by what? Everyone. And our vision, our targets, what are our targets? It has to be communicated to everyone. Thank you so much for that. Yes, sir. Communication, what are the resources, constraints, indignation,
hatred.
Hatred, that is general hatred. But how do you prove that is hatred? Let's hear. Those are the follow-up questions. Hatred? You may want to say which hatred. Just because you have been denied to live, can you say it's hatred?
No, it will be selective.
Selective.
Selective, and you will see that this is hatred.
And you will see that this is hatred. Okay. Thank you. What are the limiters of working as teams? Here, there's a head up there.
I am not quite sure about the operating environment. For instance, let's say you've been working as a team, then some constraints come in the form of changes either to the department or division, such that that momentum that had been gained as a team will be disrupted. Then you otherwise come to number 2, where you start the process again, which is in terms of storming. Yes, either otherwise in terms of disagreements, in terms of performing some different tasks, and also in terms of movement, not necessarily as changes caused by either those in authority, but others leaving the organization and also seeking for greener pastures.
Greener pastures, during that process, and some like a hiccup, and then you regain your consciousness as you go. That can also inhibit teamwork. So it is also prudent that as you also usher new members in your department, you have a certain culture that is prevailing and of welcoming a member so that they quickly become part of you and you quickly focus on production, isn't it? Imwenzira yekuti kana michiita asha a person ndekuti kana michi welcome munhu imi hamusungobvunza unoshande kupi chichi zvimwe zvinhu zvamunotaura ndezvekuti nawe tanga tiine matargets anga akamira akadai handiti mutora language yebasa handiti targets akamira so far so our strategy we were using this, we were now implementing this. Iye kana ine maonere akutanga kutocontribute to what you were already doing instead of you looking at what matomuudza zvese kuti our constraints anga akamira akadai zvakadai munhu atopinda muchi working. But isu manje tinokangana ipapo tinotanga togona kutopedza zuva rese munhu munywa nawe tisinombotara nezvebasa nzwara dzako iwewe unodziita sei handimuri kuona nyaya yekuri kutaura hainei nebasa imi kana zviri kuti zvinhu zvisanetse munhu akangouya nyowani machingamidzana mazivana paya chichi unoziva ndatori busy nenhingi. You know what we are currently doing here. Last week we had a meeting. Maunotaura zvinotoita continuity and from that meeting pakauya neresolution yati ine machallenges akati handiti. So far we were pursuing and having yekuti tinoona principle zvidaidai handiti. Matomupinza mumudi yechi basa. Right? Ndio imwe nzira iyoyo inobetsera so that there is that continuity. Tombobvira vape mutiri pamaichisamba handiti ndikaiti hanzi nzira
list for the activities. So what is going to happen is that you are going, there's a list that is circulating at. So you should select activities that add up to 20 US, not more than 20 US. So you can select from the list is circulating, please select activities that add up to 20. You select whether it's zipline, whether it's people, and many more. Right, and then for those of us that are going to take the zipline and the quad bikes, you are requested to fill in indemnity forms. So for those two activities, let's make sure that we fill in indemnity forms before going for those two activities. Thank you.